This is
Make It Plain.
Make It Plain.
MIP
With Masamela Matfumo.
Mark Thompson.
Make It Plain.
Get woke.
God bless you and get woke. Yesterday was a big day. Tuesday night was like Christmas Eve for me, and yesterday was like Christmas because of the grand opening and the ribbon cutting for the Jackie Robinson Museum. Rachel Robinson's most important project, probably something she had dreamed of for years, has finally happened. And it is a wonderful museum. We encourage everyone to come be a part of it, to check it out. I predict it's going to have a lot of visitors as time goes on. It took a lot of money that had to be raised, and it took time. COVID didn't help, and frankly, there is still a level of resistance to building black museums. This is now the first and only, for the time being, the only civil rights museum here in the city of New York. My good brother and partner, Roland Martin, was there to cover. I did some things with him, and it was just great. And I am so thankful. You know, my son's a baseball player in college. He's also a media major, and you've heard him here on Make It Plain before. You hear him every day when he opens the show, when his voice opens the show. He was in front of the mic conducting some of the interviews with some of the very important people that were there yesterday for the opening of this historic Jackie Robinson Museum. And so he's going to take over Make It Plain today and share some of the interviews he conducted with some of the VIPs. And there were some pretty significant VIPs there yesterday at the opening of the Jackie Robinson Museum. So my son, Minra Mapfumo, take it away, Minra.
First, we will hear from the CEO of the Jackie Robinson Foundation and the one most responsible for fundraising and programming for the new Jackie Robinson Museum, Della Britton. What do you want young people to get out of this museum?
That's a great question. We want them to become knowledgeable about Jackie Robinson and Rachel Robinson and their legacy. And we want them to be inspired by that. We want them to learn from the challenges Jackie had, from the strategies he had for how to create change, primarily interested in equal opportunity, interested in economic empowerment. I mean, he spent his entire life working to close the achievement gap, to get a level playing field, if you will. And so we want them to learn the story, and then we want them to be inspired to continue the work to create a society that is more just.
How do you want the museum to see race relations or talk about race relations?
Well, fundamentally, we want the museum to talk about race relations. It is the most difficult social problem in our view. And we also believe that if people talk about it in a safe space where, from a position of goodwill, from a position of wanting to see positive change, that change will happen. So we want that issue addressed. We want people who aren't afraid to talk about race. I think that's a bigger challenge for white people, frankly, and I understand why. But we want them to understand that, as Jackie Robinson said, until everybody is free, none of us is free. And he meant all colors, sizes, shapes. So we want to take on the issue of race relations in this museum. Programmatically, you'll see in our exhibits that we discuss race openly. We want to put it on the agenda for our country to begin to address.
Next, here's former Attorney General Eric Holder. How has the Jackie Robinson family or the foundation inspired you to be where you want to be today?
Well, Jackie Robinson was a hero of mine. I grew up in New York. The first team I ever rooted for was the Brooklyn Dodgers, and Jackie Robinson was the key to my interest in the Dodgers, the first team to integrate. You couldn't be a young black man in New York without rooting for the Dodgers, and to see this museum on this day is the culmination of the recognition that I think he deserves. But I think this is not only a testament to the past, it's also a call to people to be engaged in the future in the way that Jackie and Rachel were.
the mayor of New York, Eric Adams.
What was Jackie Robinson's impact on your life?
Just the belief that because something seems impossible, it is possible. And we cannot always find the safest pathway. You know, he just inspired me. As I stated, I was the first black borough president. I'm the second black mayor. Going through the challenges of breaking down those barriers, I just think so many of us can look at his story and draw on other people think it's not possible or doable. He did it. And also about partnership. Can't get away from his love affair with his wonderful wife, that even as he transitioned, she continued. And that's why this museum is open. That's why the foundation is doing well. It's because of the continuation of that partnership.
Next, Tony Clark, Executive Director of the Major League Baseball Players Association.
What needs to be done to get more African Americans back to playing baseball and as managers and owners of teams?
I don't mean to laugh. That's a long, there's a long answer and a lot of moving pieces to that. Unfortunately, the progress we've been hoping to make, we haven't made. So working on your list backwards. As it relates to ownership, as it relates to management, those are decisions that ownership and management are going to have to make at this point in time. The makeup of our ownership teams and our management groups reflects the decisions that they've made in that regard. We're hopeful that at some point in time the light will indeed come on, and the folks that are making decisions on that side of the equation will appreciate the value of a more diverse ownership group and a more diverse management group against the backdrop of how best to continue to move our industry, the baseball industry that is, forward. As it relates to having more black kids playing, more underserved communities playing, there's a lot of moving pieces there. Some of that is tied to the alternatives that exist. Some of that is tied to individual households and how individual families are established. Some of that is tied to academic opportunities and playing opportunities beyond high school. There's also the cost component of our game and how that by definition rules out segments of our young people that are looking for opportunities to play. So there's a lot there. There's a lot of work being done. We didn't get to where we are overnight. It's not going to happen where the light switch flips things into the direction that we want to see them. But there's a lot of folks that are very committed to the task at hand and are working diligently to provide those opportunities and to remove a lot of those barriers and give our young people a chance to appreciate what baseball has to offer, whether you end up playing in the major leagues or not, but the opportunity being the important piece.
New York Yankees General Manager Brian Cashman.
What does the opening of this museum mean to you?
Well, the Yankees were there from the beginning, and we've stepped up, and the boss had a great relationship with Rachel Robinson, and so matter of fact, I was asking somebody who was a part of their process early on, when's it going to open? You drive by all the time and you see it sitting there, and you're waiting for it to open. It means everything because obviously, first of all, I didn't grow up a Yankee fan. I grew up a Dodger fan, so I know the history of Jackie Robinson and the impact he had, obviously, not only on the game of baseball, the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Dodger organization, but obviously the world, especially here in America. So he was a game changer. So to celebrate his life, his impact, and obviously a lot more work to be done, and he's a pillar of hope and strength for so many, and so to remind us where we were, but also where we need to keep going. So it's a pleasure to be here and be here for the opening. So it's my trade deadline, but when it's Jackie Robinson, you stop everything and come.
And my last question is, has the Jackie Robinson family had any impact on your career, on your life?
I think they've had an impact on everybody's life because clearly they're about inclusion, they're about supporting each other, they're about creating a safe harbor, and that's, I think, the messaging that Jackie and his family has continued since. And so it's made our world a better place because of him and because of them. So that's the impact it's had on my life. Things could be far worse, but it's also a reminder we need to think things get far better.
And here's Yankee great CeCe Sabathia.
What does the opening of this museum mean to you?
I think it means everything to, any black baseball player. I think, we wouldn't be able to live out our dream without Jackie. So to be able to have a museum to memorialize that, it's an incredible feeling.
And what needs to be done for more African Americans to get back playing baseball and to be managing teams and owning teams?
Yeah, that's a big, that's a big issue. I think the Players Alliance, I'm a vice president of the Players Alliance. Curtis Granderson is the president. Edwin Jackson's the secretary, one of the founders. That's our big mission, is to get kids back playing. I thought the kids, when I was playing, I thought the kids weren't playing baseball. That's not true. Kids are playing baseball at a high clip, especially in our community. We just got to get them more opportunities.
Right.
I was just having a conversation with Tony Clark. He's headed down to Hank Aaron right now. We're just talking about more ways to, do more things like that. Maybe it's Willie Mays on the West Coast. You got Hank Aaron on the East Coast, Willie Mays. So just, the league is doing things, and I think you can see in the draft this year, with Tamar and Lil Drew and Cam Collier, Justin Crawford, all those kids came through the MLB EDI program, the youth development program. So, it's just about making it bigger and expanding and doing a better job of identifying those kids that want to play baseball.
Renowned journalist, biographer, and the author of the text on the very walls of the Jackie Robinson Museum, Howard Bryant.
What are you most impressed about in this museum, and what does the opening of the museum mean to you?
Well, it means more than I can say. Having this open, I think the thing that it means most to me is that Rachel was here to see it, to be able to see a vision come through. She's wanted this for more than 20 years, and to be able to see it with your own two eyes is just so, it brings you to tears. It's really, really special. I think that, to me, what I'm really impressed by is, as well, is the dedication of seeing a project through. Because this was hard to get done.
Right.
And we always say things like, don't talk about it, be about it. And the number of people who were committed to make this happen, it tells you how important this is, and it tells you how when you are really committed to something worthwhile, you see it through, man. You fight right. for it. And you make sure that everybody else around you builds you up, And this is a testament to commitment, to Jackie's commitment, to Rachel's commitment, to the commitment of everybody that really wanted to see this happen, and now it's here.
Yes, sir.
Spike Lee.
What does the opening of this museum mean to you, and what impresses you the most about the museum?
What was very impressive, because I'm a collector, and the stuff they have here, off the charts. I got a few things, but not like they got here. And the thing is, this is something that the Queen, Rachel Robinson, wanted for her husband and herself. This is a place where this should be one of the top museums, not just in New York City, not just in Washington, D.C., but the United States of America. You cannot underestimate the significance, the importance of Jackie Robinson. You know how your father's a minister. What does BC mean?
Before Christ.
What does AC mean?
After Christ.
So you could change that to what does BJ mean?
Before Jackie.
And what does AJ mean?
After Jackie.
So in the history of this country, there's April 14th, 1947 is a delineation where the country made a decision. Not everybody, but moving forward. The day Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier was one of the greatest days in the history of this country. That's what it means.
Thanks for getting woke and listening to Make It Plain. As always, perform an act of kindness on behalf of an elder or young person. Write a letter to a sister or brother who just so happens to find her or himself incarcerated. Offer libations to the ancestors upon whose sturdy shoulders we all now stand. And above all, give thanks to the God of your understanding by whatever name you call her and him. All God asks of us is that we give each other love. Thanks for giving MIP love. And please remember to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. If all hearts and minds are clear, it has been made plain.